Hello students, today we will be discussing a very important topic of class 11 atomic structure, that is the postulates of Bohr's atomic model. Now all of you have read about the demerits of Rutherford atomic model and that many concepts played a major role to the further development and which leads to the Bohr's atomic model. Now first today we will be discussing about the postulates of Bohr's atomic model. First postulate said that electron cannot revolve in any circular orbit, but it can revolve in a certain selected orbit where angular momentum of revolving electron is equal to nh by 2 pi. Let us take here that the mass of revolving electron is m and the velocity of the revolving electron is the v and the radius of the circular path is equal to r. Now here if we consider that this is the radius r and then mass of the electron m, then m into v is the linear momentum and r is the radius, then mvr will be equal to nh by 2 pi. So what is this n? N is an integer which actually gives the orbit number. N equal to 1 means the first orbit, n equal to 2 means the second orbit, n equal to 3 means third orbit, n equal to 4 means fourth orbit, etc. And h is a Planck constant which have value 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule per second. So, and the pi is it's a value 3.14 that all of you know. So first postulate what it said, that electron cannot revolve in any circular orbit, but it can revolve in a certain selected orbit where the angular momentum of revolving electron is equal to nh by 2 pi. Now second postulate said that when electron revolves in a selected orbit, do not radiate its energy and do not gain any energy. This is known as the concept of Bohr's stationary orbit. So the major problem with the Rutherford atomic model was there when electron was revolving in a selected orbit, revolving in a circular orbit, it was continuously losing its energy due to the formation of the magnetic field, and that's why it was coming close to the nucleus and suddenly it was falling on the nucleus. Now if we consider this here the Bohr's atomic model, then you will be knowing here that when electron revolves in a selected orbit, it do not radiate its energy and it do not gain any energy. That means the energy of the electron will be stationary, so that there will be no chance to come close to the nucleus, and this concept is known as the concept of Bohr's stationary orbit. Third postulate said when electron jump from lower energy orbit to higher energy orbit, it gain energy, and when it come back from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, it lose energy. Let us take here that the electron is revolving in a circular path here, and that is, let us take that this is n equal to 1, n equal to 1, and then in the second case let us take that this is n equal to second orbit, and if the electron stays in this orbit, then it's let us take that its energy is equal to E1, and when it will be going to the n equal to 2, let us take that its energy will be equal to E2. Now E2 minus E1, that will be equal to delta E. That means the electron has to accept delta E amount of energy to move from E1 to an E1 energy level to the E2 energy level. So this delta E equal to we can write here h nu. H is the Planck constant and nu is the frequency of light or the frequency of radiation. Now, so these are the three postulates of Bohr's atomic model. Now there are some derivations related to the Bohr's postulates. Means what would be the radius of the Bohr orbit, and as well as the velocity of the electron and the energy expression of the energy that you have to derive here. Now first I will be discussing here the radius of the, how can we determine the radius of the Bohr's orbit. Let us take that an electron is revolving in a circular orbit, and I am taking here this atom as the atomic number Z. That means how many number of proton will be there? Z number of proton will be there. That means total charge in the nucleus, it will be Z into E. And then if we consider that the electron is also present here, E, and electronic charge is equal to E, and if this radius of the path is equal to R, then the attraction force between this proton and the electron will be the Coulombic attraction force, that would be equal to Z square divided by R square. Z square divided by R square. Now here see, as the electron is also revolving here, that means another force, that is known as the centrifugal force, which will be acting towards the outside, means perpendicular to this attraction force. And then if we consider that the mass of the electron is equal to m and the velocity of the electron is equal to v, then mv square by r, that is the centrifugal force, which will act perpendicular to that of the Coulombic attraction force. Now if the electron has to stay for the stability of this electron, and both the force, means this Coulombic attraction force and the centrifugal force has to be equal. So that means, see, for the stability of the atom, we can write here Z square divided by R square. This will be equal to mv square divided by R. mv square divided by R. Now from here we can write that the v square equal to Z square divided by mr. Z square divided by mr. Now you know that from the first postulates of Bohr's atomic theory, that angular momentum of electron mvr will be equal to nh by 2 pi. So from here we can write that the v equal to nh by 2 pi mr. Then we have got here the v square equal to Z square divided by mr. Now if we actually square this, then we can get here the v square equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square m square r square. Now if we actually, so let us take that this is equal to equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now if we equalize these two, equation 1 and equation 2, then what will be the value? Then the value will be here Z square divided by mr equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square m square r square. Now r, this r and this r will cancel, then the value will come here Z square divided by m n square h square into 4 pi square m square divided by 1 by r. From here m and m will cut, and that means the r will be equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square m z square. That is the general expression. That means the radius of the nth orbit of an atom will be given by this formula Rn equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square m z square. mz square. Now, if we, this is actually the general expression we have derived. Now, if we consider that the atom is the hydrogen, for hydrogen atom, what will happen there? For hydrogen atom, we can consider that the Z value equal to 1, and then the equation will take the form here Rn equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square m square. Now if we consider that the n value equal to 1, that means the radius of the first Bohr orbit of the hydrogen atom, radius of first Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom, then equation will be R1 equals to h square divided by 4 pi square m square. Look at here, h is a constant quantity, 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule per second SI and SI system value, and pi also have a definite value 3.14, and m, mass of the electron, is also having value 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31, and electronic charge, you know, that is the 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So if we put all this value, then what will happen? Then we will be getting here the specific value, that will be 0.053 angstrom. I have just calculated in the angstrom, means converted this unit as angstrom. R1 equal to 0.53 angstrom we will be getting. Now, let us come to the original equation here. We have got Rn equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square mz square, and for hydrogen atom z will be 1, so that the Rn will be equal to n square h square divided by 4 pi square m square. We have derived the, see, if we separate the n square, then the entire expression, that is the radius of the first orbit, it is coming, see, 4 pi square m square, that is the radius of the first Bohr orbit of the hydrogen atom. So can we write here the Rn equals to n square into h square into R1, and R1 value we have derived here, that is the 0.053 angstrom. So we can write here the Rn equals to n square into 0.53 angstrom. That means that is the radius of the, we have got the expression for the radius of the nth orbit of the hydrogen atom in the angstrom unit. Rn equal to n square into 0.53 angstrom, that is for hydrogen atom. But if we consider here that the hydrogen like atom, then what would be the expression? Then hydrogen like atom means those atoms which are having a single, those atoms which are having a single electron system, a single electron only. Means maybe that the lithium 2 plus, lithium it's having a 3 electron, but 2 plus means that is the 1 electron. So for hydrogen like atom, Z value will not be equal to 1. So we can write the general expression here now, Rn equals to n square h square divided by 4 pi square mz square will be equal to n square divided by z. We are separating here, here z will not be equal to 1, then it will be h square divided by 4 pi square m square. Now this one equal to the R1 of hydrogen. So as it will be R1 of hydrogen, we will be getting the value 0.53 angstrom. 0.53 angstrom. Now, so we have got the general expression for the radius of the hydrogen atom, that is the general hydrogen like atom, Rn equal to 0.53 into n square divided by z. This is for hydrogen like atom. Hydrogen like atom. Now so this is the expression we have got here, and in the next video we will be discussing the derivation of the other means energy of the revolving electron and also the velocity of the electron. That's all.